Hi everyone, my name's Haley Hevel and this is my Assignment 7 reflection for my final project. In my final project, students had to compare weather in two different cities. We compared the city that we live in, which is Enid, Oklahoma, to a city that has different weather patterns, so really anywhere outside of the Midwest. What they had to do was every day after lunch, we gathered the weather from the Google add-on U.S. Local News and Weather, and we did our weather in Enid together, and then they and their partner gathered weather data for their other city, and they recorded that data for 2 weeks. At the end of the 2 weeks, we created a rubric for a WeVideo assignment, and they needed to compare the two cities in any way. So they could make a video of themselves, which a lot of them did, or they could make some sort of presentation aid, visual aid of some sort, and put it into the video and speak over it. And then they also needed to use Androidify to create GIFs or GIFs, however you say it, to make people that would reflect how they would dress in that weather for both places. So the objective was that students will be able to represent data in tables and graphical displays to show predictable patterns in weather in Enid, Oklahoma, and their comparing place in the United States. This was a success, I think, because we created the rubric first. My students knew what they needed to do in order to be successful. And so we scored about an average of an 87%, and they did an amazing, phenomenal job. Overall, I thought this assignment went smoothly for me, but it was challenging. I really liked that in assignment 1, we got to create a tentative plan, which really guided me through the rest of the assignments in this course that led me to the final project. The standards that I chose were that students would collect data or identify relevant data sets, use digital tools to analyze them, and represent data in various ways to facilitate problem solving and decision making, and they will communicate complex ideas clearly and effectively by creating or using a variety of digital objects such as visualizations, models, or simulations. And I think my students met those standards incredibly well. For me, my standards I chose for myself was that I would design authentic learning activities that align with content area standards. We are not a Common Core state in Oklahoma. We use Oklahoma state standards, so I had to align to those third grade standards. And use digital tools, which were Chromebooks and resources, WeVideo, the Google add-on, to maximize active deep learning, and to create learning opportunities that challenge students to use a design process and computational thinking to innovate and solve problems. Fourthly, my TPACK intersections, these aligned really well with my project. That TPACK 1 candidates integrate current and emerging digital tools to collect, analyze, and present information, which is exactly what I did and my students did. And TCK 1 candidates design and facilitate diverse learning activities. So this whole project is a learning activity that is something out of the ordinary for my students, and it incorporated digital tools and resources. And lastly, my big idea takeaway is that I need to do this more. I just really do. My students were so engaged and they did so well, and honestly, I thought that it would be difficult for them, but they really exceeded my expectations. My main takeaway is that I have realized that my students are capable of so much more than I had expected in this project, and they just took it so much farther than I would have ever imagined. They researched more about their comparing city than I had expected them to. They figured out who the mayor was and random facts about the city, where it is, what's by it, how long it would take for us to drive there. They just wanted so much more. They needed to know more, and it was amazing to watch them go through that. And so I need to challenge them more with this kind of project, and that's my big takeaway from this. And overall, I have loved this course. It challenged me in many ways, and I got to know web tools and multimedia a lot more, and I'm looking forward to more classes like this in the future.